Slap him.
5 monsters caught on tape. From a dragon filmed flying over England to a creature caught lurking in the depths of a sewer, we take a look at 5 monsters caught on tape. This footage, taken during the 2011 tsunami in Japan, appears to show some sort of mysterious white creature fleeing the rising waters. The beast seems to disappear into thin air as it scrambles to the roof of a nearby house. Sensing further danger, the monster then makes another dash for higher ground. This footage was taken in a Mexican town in 2015. After hearing strange noises coming from outside, the resident decides to take their camera to investigate. What they see lurking on the roof is truly terrifying. There's very little information available about this clip. It's apparently filmed somewhere in England and appears to show a dragon flying across the sky. What do you think, real dragon or elaborate hoax? Let us know in the comments section below. This remarkable footage from Brazil claims to show an alien being held by the local government. In the video, the soldiers are apparently asking the creature to speak. Both soldiers then make a hasty exit as one of them says, "Let's get out of here." This chilling footage was captured during a routine sewer inspection by a UK water company. What they catch a glimpse of is the stuff of nightmares. Here's a bonus one for you all. It's not a video as such, it's an image that went viral in 2014. Allegedly, it's a heat signature of a bizarre animal captured by a geologist working in a New Mexico oil field. Many claim this monster to be a skinwalker, a mythical creature from Native American legend that has the ability to shapeshift into any animal it chooses. Others believe it's a hoax, claiming it's a still from a little-known 1980s science fiction film. What do you think, hoax or proof that a skinwalker is prowling the oil fields of New Mexico? As always, thanks heaps for watching. Hit that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the creepy content. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe because we have stuff like this coming out each and every week. And this is the Slapper shining.
Slap him.
Ten ghostly photos you've never seen. From creepy little girls with teddy bears to ominous 9-foot tall apparitions, we take a cautious peep at 10 ghostly photos you've never seen. The White Lady of Worstead Church. In 1975, Peter Berthelot took this photo of his wife Diane on a trip to Worstead Church in Norfolk, UK. The couple didn't notice the mysterious figure sitting behind Diane until a friend pointed it out after flipping through some photos some months later. The following year, the couple returned to Worstead Church where they showed the photo to Reverend Pettit, the church vicar. Reverend Pettit immediately recognised the apparition as the White Lady, a ghostly resident of the church who had been in the area for more than 100 years. Phantom of the Philippines. Little is known about this photo taken in Manila, Philippines. The two girls pictured claim that no one was around at the time the photo was taken and that it is not double exposure. Many skeptics argue the validity of this picture, while others believe it to be evidence that proves the existence of the spirit world. Ghostly girl in burning building. On the 19th of November 1995, Tony O'Reilly captured this photo of the Wentown Hall in Shropshire burning to the ground. O'Reilly snapped the pic using a 200mm telephoto lens while standing on the other side of the street. Some locals claim that the little girl seen in the image is the ghost of Jane Churm, a young girl who, in 1677, accidentally set fire to a thatched roof, causing many of the town's old timber houses to burn down. The Grey Lady of Hampton Court. This ghastly image was captured by Holly Hampshire on a trip to Hampton Court Palace, Surrey, UK. 12-year-old Hampshire took a succession of photos of her cousin Brooke McGee and didn't think anything of them until she reviewed the snaps the following day. Some believe the figure Hampshire captured in one photo to be that of Dame Sybil Penn, a servant at Hampton Court, who died of smallpox in 1562. Sightings of the shadowy dame began in 1829 after her tomb was moved due to renovations. Shortly after, strange sounds of someone working a spinning wheel could be heard late at night. This led to a search of the palace, where a secret chamber was discovered that housed a mysterious antique spinning wheel. The ghosts of SS Waterdown. In 1924, Captain Keith Tracy of the SS Waterdown captured this eerie photo after his crewmen reported seeing the ghostly faces of two recently deceased sailors in the waves near the ship. Crew members Michael Meehan and James Courtney were said to have been overcome by fumes and died while cleaning an oil tank some days earlier. The pair were then buried at sea, which was customary at the time. The following day, just as evening was approaching, the first mate of the ship reported seeing the faces of the deceased sailors in the waves off the port side of the ship. After returning ashore, Captain Tracy bought a camera, and next time at sea he is said to have captured this unsettling photo. The Haunted Bureau. This creepy photograph of a Queen Anne-style bureau was taken in the early 20th century. At first glance, everything appears to be normal until you notice the ghostly hand near the top of the image. The furniture dealer Montague Cooper was at a loss to explain this image. Ghostly girl with teddy bear. The young girl in this picture is Anastasia Peretz. Many years after this photo was taken, Peretz was looking through one of her old photo albums when she came across this image and noticed something very unsettling. The ghostly girl with a teddy bear opening the bedroom door behind her to get a closer look. Spectre of Newby Church. Taken in 1963 by Reverend K.F. Lord at Newby Church in North Yorkshire, this unsettling image seemingly captures an ominous 9-foot-tall hooded spectre. Some have proposed that the image may be of a 16th century monk with a white shroud over his face to hide a bad case of leprosy or some other disfigurement. Many photographic experts have studied this ghostly photo only to conclude that it's not a result of double exposure. Just take a close look at the way the figure's black cloak drapes perfectly over the altar stairs. Ghostly photobomb. In 2014, two young UK women took a Halloween selfie which later revealed a terrifying photobomber. After uploading this photo to Snapchat, Kaylee Atkinson rang her friend Victoria Greaves and told her to take a closer look at the photo they'd taken earlier that evening. The picture scared one of the girls so much that she immediately deleted the image from her phone. The two girls claimed there was no one else in the bar at the time this photograph was taken. The Pink Lady of Greencastle. This photo taken by Guy Winters at the O'Hare Mansion in Greencastle, Indiana, appears to show the ghostly apparition of a lady looking out from one of the upstairs windows. Winters, a paranormal photographer, went to investigate after reports of paranormal activity in the abandoned house. Winter claims that the figure's image could not be seen in the window at the time the photo was taken, and only appeared once the photo was developed. An analysis of the film's negative also revealed the ghostly vision. Oh my god, someone send me trousers for I have soiled them out of terror. As always, thanks heaps for watching. Remember to give this video a thumbs up because it lets us know you're enjoying the content. Subscribe if you haven't already because we have new stuff coming out every Thursday, 3 PM Pacific Standard Time. And this is the Slap Time Shiny Wolf.
Slap him.
10 creepiest YouTube videos ever made. From a man lost in the catacombs of Paris to what it would be like to hear voices inside your head. Join us as we explore the 10 creepiest YouTube videos. This video uses a backing track that was used by the US forces during the Vietnam War. It was part of a propaganda campaign to scare the Viet Cong away from their posts. The theory behind this creepy audio is the Vietnamese belief that if a person dies without a proper burial, their soul is forced to wander aimlessly in pain and suffering. So the US engineers crafted a series of distorted recordings that emulated wandering spirits calling out from the darkness. It was designed to unnerve the enemy and force them to flee their ground. This clip is an audio representation of what it would be like to experience auditory hallucinations. It was designed by a mental health outreach worker based on feedback from clients who were managing schizophrenia, bipolar, and other mental health disorders. For the optimal experience, use headphones. This is what it could be like to have voices inside your head.
Jump now. Jump in front of the car. Go on. Do it. No, don't. You can't. So stupid. Look at you. Stupid.
This short film by Eric Deutschmann was uploaded to YouTube in 2009. It depicts the unravelling of an old lady's psyche over a simple cup of tea. The grainy Super 8 footage is offset by some unnerving piano. It repeats and repeats till it starts to lose its pitch, echoing the old lady's frail state of mind. This short film is well worth a watch in a very dark room at a very dark hour. This video depicts a mock activation of the emergency alert system in the United States. This is what residents of Los Angeles would see on their televisions if a long-range nuclear missile had been detected. It is designed to cut all regular radio and TV broadcasts to alert citizens of an immediate, massive-scale disaster event.
This message is transmitted at the request of the United States Office of Civil Defense. At 3:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, NORAD detected a long-range nuclear missile launch in North Korea. This missile is believed to be headed in the direction of the Los Angeles metropolitan area. It is believed that it will impact this area within the next 1.5 to 2 hours. All residents within a 400-mile radius of this area should seek a fallout shelter immediately.
The Paris catacombs are a series of interconnecting tunnels deep under the city that house the remains of an estimated 6 million people. The enormous burial ground was established in the 18th century when Paris faced a twofold problem, one of overflowing cemeteries and cave-ins from haphazard mining centuries earlier. The twisting network of mines was reinforced in the late 1700s and were quickly filled with millions of human remains exhumed from nearby cemeteries. This video was recovered from a camcorder found deep in the Parisian labyrinth. It shows a man exploring the catacombs by himself. He walks further and further into the dark unknown, passing hundreds of skeletal remains. After wandering the maze of tunnels for some time, he becomes noticeably startled as his breath becomes heavier and more panic-stricken. It's as though something is following him as he starts to run wildly from passage to passage. Finally, the camera gets dropped in a puddle. Then you can hear the man continue to run off into the darkness. The person who filmed this footage has never been found. This video has been doing the rounds on the internet for a few years now. It depicts a singing android named Tara in a small living room. She sings over and over, "I feel fantastic, hey, hey, hey," to an unnerving backing track.
I feel fantastic. Hey, hey, hey. You feel fantastic. Hey, hey, hey.
No one is certain as to the origins of this clip. There are, however, many conspiracy theories that say the android was made by a serial killer. At 1 minute 47, the video cuts to an outside shot of a backyard, leading many to speculate that this is where he buried his victims. Some say he dressed the android in the clothes of the last person he murdered. It's thought that the android sings "I feel fantastic" because that's what the murderer wanted his victims to say as they were being killed. Creepier still, halfway through the song, the verse changes to "Please leave, run, run, run." The video is often linked to a man named John Bergeron and a website called AndroidWorld.com. They say he created Tara the singing android as a sort of artsy experiment, but Bergeron has never come forward. The video is so perplexing it spawned numerous copycat videos and even its own creepypasta. This unsettling video was sent to our Facebook page a few months ago. The description reads, "I'm coming for you. All of you, you can't escape me. I need 1 million souls for transport back to hell. In 1 week, may I please have your soul? I'll take good care of it, I promise." It's basically 12 minutes of a guy dressed in a clown suit, drinking wine, coughing and spluttering, saying how he's going to collect our souls and take them back to hell.
"I will be back looking for you. All of you. And your souls. I want your souls."
Released in 2005, this highly experimental film by Ryan Tricarton makes you wonder whether someone slipped some acid into your morning bowl of Cap'n Crunch. Supposedly, this story follows protagonist Skippy as he leaves his troubled family in search of a better life. However, from what I can tell, it just seems to be 40 minutes of gratuitous psychedelic imagery performed by a group of stoned art students. Either way, the production quality is undeniably creepy and wholly unsettling.
"Son, Dad, what do you want?" "Son, Dad, son, Dad." Yeah.
Begotten is an experimental film released in 1990 by director E. Elias Mehig. It is 1 hour and 12 minutes of dark, twisted reality. It's like you've developed an uneasy fever of which there is no recovery. The film is a distorted retelling of the Bible's Genesis. The opening is probably the most notable and disturbing scene. It depicts God disemboweling himself as he writhes about covered in blood. This very unsettling YouTube clip began circulating around 2014. It's fairly hard to describe, so it's probably best we just watch a little. This version has been edited to be extra creepy with dubbed sound and overlaid visual effects. The original, titled Transfiguration, is actually by a performance artist named Olivia de Sagazan. The first iteration of the piece appeared in 2001 and has since been in constant change as the artist seeks to challenge the viewer in new ways. Well, I'd say it's been very successful because I'm currently in need of a fresh pair of pants. Well, I'm a little unsettled. How about you? As always, thanks heaps for watching. Hit that thumbs up button if you're watching this video on the can. Remember to follow us on Twitter @SlapTam for daily Did You Know facts. And this is our Slap Time.
Slap.
10 allegedly cursed objects that could kill you. Most of us love a good fable about the supernatural, but when it causes death, maybe we ought to think twice. A few objects in this world are not only known to be cursed, but also to cause death. That's when a tale ceases to be just creepy and goes on to be something to be avoided at all costs. So join us as we count down 10 allegedly cursed objects and their intriguing stories. King Tut's Tomb. The Curse of King Tut's Tomb is a cautionary tale that has caught the public eye for generations. An archaeologist known as Howard Carter found the tomb on 4th of November 1922. It was a magnificent find for him and his crew. However, within 7 years of the discovery, 11 people connected to Carter's party died for strange reasons. The number rose to 21 by the year 1935. Critics attribute the mysterious deaths to a fungus, but the inscription on the tomb says it all. Death shall come on swift wings to anyone who disturbs the king's peace. Busby's Stoop Chair. Often referred to as the Chair of Death, the chair is named after its original owner, Thomas Busby. He was a coiner who brutally murdered a co-worker. Before his death sentence, he asked for a drink on his favourite chair, a well-built rocking chair. Mysterious deaths occurred to folks who defied the chair's curse, from motorcycle deaths to tales of a chimney sweep falling from a roof. While sitting on the chair, Busby mumbled his final words, "Death will come quickly to whoever sits in my chair." Since then, the chair lingered in an inn till 1978, when the owner donated it to Thirsk Museum, where it is hung on a wall, thus stopping people from sitting in it ever again. The Dybbuk Box. In Jewish culture, a Dybbuk is a restless spirit that possesses the living. The box, in this case, is an artifact in history that dates back to the Holocaust. Previous owner Kevin Mannis listed the cursed box on eBay, describing it as an old wine cabinet. It is claimed that whoever opens the box is met by great misfortune. Past owners all claim to have the same ghastly nightmares of an old hag haunting them. Some allege that the box burns out the lights in the room or causes horrible welts on their body. One owner died of a stroke the day they received it as a gift. The Annabelle Doll. Ed and Lorraine Warren, the world's most prolific researchers in paranormal investigation, owned lots of artifacts said to be cursed. Within their collection of cursed objects was a rather normal-looking ragged doll, Annabelle, that was locked up in a glass cabinet. It had the warning, "Positively do not open." A woman called Donna received the doll from her mother on her 28th birthday. She reported receiving troubling notes from the doll. Annabelle was known to shift positions in the night, and even sometimes drops of blood would be found on her. Donna's friend Lou claimed to have been scratched by the doll. Later, the Warrens took the doll and kept it in their personal museum called the Occult. A young boy is said to have visited the museum and mocked the doll. 3 hours later, he was reported dead after losing control of his motorcycle. The Hope Diamond. Formed approximately 1.1 billion years ago, this gem is worth close to 200 to 250 million US dollars. Known as the King's Jewel, this precious gemstone has travelled the world and changed hands amongst the wealthy. One of the most popular tales about its origin involves a man named Tavernier, who is believed to have plucked the diamond from the forehead of a Hindu statue. He sold the artifact to King Louis XIV, but was later torn apart by wild dogs on a trip to Constantinople. Many victims are said to have suffered misfortune from the doomed gemstone, from suicide to incarceration to divorce and dead children. The diamond now resides in the Smithsonian Natural History Museum. Haunted eBay painting. Another tale of a cursed object surrounds this irksome painting of a female doll and a young boy standing in front of a window. In February 2000, an anonymous buyer put up an ad on eBay for an allegedly haunted painting. The ad boasted images supposedly caught on a webcam of the painting changing form at night. The owners claimed that the female doll would hold a gun to the little boy in the painting and force him to leave the picture. Within hours of the eBay ad going live, the story quickly spread through the internet. Unsettling reports started coming in from those who had viewed the painting in the eBay ad. This included people falling violently ill or fainting. Children were said to be screaming at the picture. Some even claim an unseen entity would take hold of them. The painting sold for $1,050 US to an anonymous buyer. The Iceman. Also known as Otzi, the Iceman was discovered in September 1991 in Italy. The Iceman is a mummy of a man thought to have lived around 3300 BCE. A glacier surrounded the corpse and preserved the body. However, after it was found, rumours of a curse followed those linked to the popsicled remains. 7 deaths have been tied to Iceman's discovery. Rainer Henn, the forensic pathologist who studied the find, died in a car accident just before giving a speech about the mummified remains, while Helmut Simon, the man who discovered Iceman, fell 100 metres to his death while hiking in the Austrian Alps. Robert the Doll. In 1904, a boy named Robert Eugene Otto received a doll as a gift from his family maid. Otto named the doll Robert after himself and had an immediate attachment to it. At night, Otto's parents claimed that they could hear him whispering to the doll from his bedroom. Often a foreign voice was heard answering back to Otto, but the parents assumed it was their son putting it on. As the years went by, Otto grew more fond of the doll as it had its own place at the dinner table and would sleep with him in his bed at night time. Otto began exhibiting disturbing behaviour, often succumbing to fits of rage. He would blame the episodes on Robert the doll, saying he was the reason for the upturned furniture and scattered silverware. When Otto got married, he placed the doll in the attic. School children would often say they saw the doll staring lifelessly out the window, often changing places throughout the day. Then, in the mid-70s, after Otto and his wife had passed away, the new owners of the house claimed they heard giggling coming from the attic, and that the doll's expression would change from day to day. Key West's Fort East Martello Museum now own the doll, which you can go visit for yourself. But beware of what you say in front of Robert the doll, as he might just visit you while you're sleeping. The Crying Boy Painting. The Crying Boy is a widely reproduced painting by Italian artist Bruno Amadeo. It depicts a small boy with distant grey eyes weeping. On September 4, 1985, the British tabloid newspaper The Sun ran an article about a firefighter from Yorkshire who was claiming that he had found the reproduced painting several times in burnt-out buildings. Every time he found the artwork, it was completely untouched by the fire, yet everything around it was turned to ash. Over the next few months, many newspapers began running articles about people who owned the painting that suffered house fires. By the end of November 1985, the hysteria surrounding the painting became so prevalent that The Sun began organising mass burnings of the painting sent in by readers. The Anguished Man. Looking at this painting immediately fills the viewer with a sense of dread. It depicts a man in extreme discomfort with haunting black eyes. It is said the artist mixed his own blood into the paint and shortly after completing the artwork committed suicide. The story of this painting begins with Sean Robinson, who inherited it from his deceased grandmother. She kept it in the attic for 25 years, fearing the portrait was evil. Robinson took the painting to his house, where he and his wife began experiencing unsettling noises. They claimed to have heard a man crying in the shadows of their bedroom, as well as one night awaking to a dark figure at the foot of their bed watching them sleep. This unsettling encounter made Robinson's wife refuse to live in the same house as the painting. Question time. If you could create a myth about a cursed object, what would it be and what would the curse do? Those who can scare our piglet pants off will feature in the next Q&A.
No, Mummy, don't let the cursed things hurt me.
As always, thanks heaps for watching. Remember to follow us on Fartbook and Twitter, because we do funny things over there and it's a lot of fun, and subscribe!
Slap him.
5 ghosts caught on CCTV. From a centuries-old headless drummer boy to a terrifying poltergeist attack. Join us as we take a look at 5 pieces of ghostly CCTV footage. This is some footage of a man filming an airport runway. When he glances down at the road, his camera captures something off-putting. Whatever was captured disappears. The creepy thing is that it triggers the CCTV camera to spin around and look at the window where the figure was. This is some CCTV footage taken in October 2013 at Jimmy's World Grill and Bar. It shows a woman finishing a meal then getting up to pay. Once she leaves, something weird happens at her table. Dover Castle in Kent, England is reportedly haunted by several ghosts. Workers and security guards often report disembodied screams coming from the castle ramparts. The halls are said to be haunted by a headless drummer boy who was brutally murdered many centuries ago. Here's some footage taken in August 2009 at one of the gates to the castle. Some kind of dark figure floats across the screen then disappears. Moments later, a security guard rushes to the scene but is dumbfounded by the experience. This is some CCTV footage taken at the Carlisle Castle Hotel in Newtown, Sydney, Australia. When owner Peter Bradbury noticed strange things happening around the bar, such as glasses smashing and wine falling off the shelves, he decided to review the security camera footage. What it captured is truly startling. A security camera in a Malaysian hotel has captured a terrifying encounter. The first camera shows an armchair sliding on its own, then a door violently slamming shut. The footage then cuts to a woman sitting alone in a room. What happens next is terrifying. Fresh pantalones, please. As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you've got any interesting theories about these pieces of footage, let us know in the comments section below. We'd love to hear them. Remember to hit that thumbs up button. Let's try and get this video to 1,000 likes. And this is the Slap Ham shining off.
Slap Ham.
5 ghostly spirits caught on camera. From a man getting possessed in a convenience store to a poltergeist tearing an office apart. Join us as we take a look at 5 pieces of creepy ghost footage caught on CCTV. There's very little information available about this video. If anyone knows anything, please let us know in the comments section below. A CCTV camera shows a car driving through a parking lot. Then it seems to hit some kind of shadowy figure, then stops suddenly. The passengers get out of the car to see what they hit, but there's nothing there. Here's some shocking footage caught on CCTV. It appears to show a man being possessed by a demon or spirit. It's easy to dismiss this footage as a man having some kind of seizure, but watch closely as something reflects off the glass door, then things inexplicably fall off the shelf. This is some security footage taken in an unknown grocery store. It shows a shopping trolley eerily wheel across the room. At first it's easy to think that someone's just pushed the trolley off camera, but then it turns and wheels up a ramp all on its own. Located in Bolton in Greater Manchester, the Ye Old Man and Scythe pub is one of the oldest public houses in England, built way back in 1251. On the morning of February 14th, 2014, the owner discovered a broken glass on the floor of the bar. When he went to check the CCTV footage, he noticed that it had stopped filming at 6:18 AM that morning. This is what the security camera captured up until that time. If you look closely, you can see what appears to be a hooded man standing at the bar. During the night of November 1st, 2012 at the Castlefield House in Manchester, CCTV footage captured some terrifying events. As guards reviewed the security tapes, they witnessed some kind of poltergeist rip through the office building. It's almost as though the entity suddenly leaves. Then everything in the office returns to normal. I might just hide under my bed for the next 10 hours. As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you're enjoying the spooky content, hit that thumbs up button. Now, what do you think? Are these videos proof of an afterlife, or are they just fake? Let us know in the comment section below. And this is the Slapped Arm shining off. From a guy chimping out in an office to a dude doing backflips naked through a train station. Join us as we examine 10 pieces of bizarre human behaviour caught on camera. Let's get into it. This security footage, taken in an unknown Russian office, captures some extreme human behaviour. After having some papers knocked off his desk, this guy absolutely chimps out, rampaging through the office. He throws monitors, kicks down cubicles, threatens co-workers. I think it's safe to say he's tendered his resignation. A security camera in a phone store in China captures a rather unsuccessful robbery. While browsing handsets, this guy tries the old grab and run method but fails miserably. After realizing that the phone is attached to a security cord, he nonchalantly goes back to browsing before a shop attendant comes to question him. An inconspicuous gentleman tries his darndest to purchase a few light refreshments. What happens next is both alarming and hilarious at the same time. This footage, taken by an onlooker, captures the moment a husband discovers his wife cheating. You can see the couple arguing on the balcony of their apartment when suddenly the wife's secret lover hops out of a window. The adulterous ninja is forced to climb down using a makeshift bedsheet ladder. He makes his way to ground level as the gathering crowd whistles and cheers him on. This devious little prankster thought it'd be hilarious to make some photocopies of his ass. However, the stunt soon goes horribly wrong. This footage shows a security guard being attacked by a man dressed as Spider-Man. It's not known what the quarrel is about, but it quickly escalates into a brawl, sending onlookers into a photo-taking frenzy. For seemingly no reason whatsoever, this guy runs through a wall of bricks. He's really chuffed too, like what he's just done is a real achievement. I love that there's two people just casually watching. I had a look into this clip and it turns out it's advertising a self-help program. So maybe you too can unnecessarily put yourself in harm's way by running into a wall of bricks. Down at Winnipeg Square in Manitoba, Canada, a security camera spots something very strange indeed. Apparently, this man couldn't find a suitable facility to relieve himself. Forced to take drastic measures, he resorts to fertilizing the ficus. This is some truly bizarre human behaviour. A security camera in an unknown office lobby captures the moment when a guy weighs up whether or not it's a good idea to run through a glass door. You can see him walk up to the door, he clearly acknowledges it, rifles through some papers, looks around, then just goes for it. What on earth was he hoping to achieve? This footage, taken at a BART station in San Francisco, shows a naked man terrorizing fellow commuters. He wanders about performing acrobatics, attacking people at random. A security guard tries subduing the situation with little success as the crazed naked man performs a flip off the top of a newspaper stand. The man was eventually detained and arrested by police, but get this, he was released just 4 days later. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, slap a like on it. If you want to watch more stuff from us, there's annotations right here. They're brand new. They should work on mobile. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Bye. From a woman mauled to death by a pet tiger to a man torn apart and eaten by lizards and spiders. Join us as we take a peep at 10 pets that have killed their owners. In 2006, a 52-year-old woman was mauled to death by a 500-pound Bengal tiger in Pine County, Minnesota. Authorities were called to the property after Cynthia Lee Gamble's body was discovered by a man who arrived at the property to perform a controlled burn. Gamble was a writer and editor of wildlife documentaries and had previously trained animals for films such as Vertical Limit, released in 2000. A veterinarian had to destroy the very agitated animal at the scene before authorities could gain access to Gamble's remains. In 2004, Al Abel was bitten and killed by his pet lion Simba on his Illinois farm he ran with his wife. The 52-year-old man was attacked while cleaning the large cat's enclosure after failing to secure the animal inside its holding pen. It was the first time Abel had attempted to clean the enclosure without the help of his wife Kathy, who was running errands at the time. Abel was not officially qualified to care for the animal as Kathy was the only one who held a license to keep big cats. Official reports concluded that Abel was in poor health and was suffering from forgetfulness prior to the incident. When the police arrived on the scene, they found the lion pacing aggressively and were unable to reach the suspected location of Mr. Abel. The lion was shot with an AK-47 and Abel's body was soon discovered shortly afterwards. In 2009, 37-year-old Kellyanne Waltz was mauled to death by a 350-pound pet black bear. Waltz was cleaning the interior of the bear's enclosure when it attacked. Her children witnessed the incident and summoned their neighbour Scott Costoni for help, who shot the bear while it was still on top of Waltz. Waltz's husband was licensed to keep the bear along with lions, tigers and other dangerous animals, but had let his permits lapse prior to the attack. In 2007, exotic pet owner Pam Weaver was crushed to death by her pet camel. Weaver's husband had bought the 330-pound present for his wife's 60th birthday. Camel expert Chris Hill told reports that the camel's behaviour was most likely sexual. He believed that the camel, who had previously exhibited strange behaviour by trying to mount the family's pet goat, was most likely trying to mate with Weaver and accidentally trampled her to death. In 2010, Corey Byrne became the first person in the United States to be killed by a boa constrictor, despite his family warning him of the dangers of owning such a pet. Byrne, who had the snake around his neck at the time, was showing it to his roommate's girlfriend when it strangled him to death. In 2013, 10-year-old Aidan Pankey was rushed to hospital after complaining of severe stomach pains. He died hours later from a bacterial infection commonly known as rat bite fever. Aidan's grandmother had recently given him a rat that he named Alex to provide companionship for a pet rat he had already owned. The rat was purchased from pet store Petco and was in the possession of the boy for about 2 weeks before he became ill and passed away. In 2004, an unidentified woman died after being bitten by her pet pit viper. The 44-year-old woman drove herself to hospital after she received the bite, but died sometime after being administered. Police broke down her front door and, along with Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden specialists, began searching the house. Inside, they found at least 9 poisonous snakes still contained in their enclosures, along with several large lizards and 2 alligators free roaming around the house. In 2009, Sandra Herold's pet chimpanzee Travis mauled her friend Carla Nash, leaving her with horrific wounds. Travis went berserk after stealing Herold's keys and escaping the house, when Herold called her friend Nash to come over and help catch the chimp. Travis attacked Nash after seeing her hold one of his favourite toys, tearing off her nose, lips and both hands. Herold called the authorities, who initially thought it was a joke, until they heard her screaming, "He's eating her."
What's the problem?
Police! Send the police!
What's the problem there?
The chimp killed my friend!
Is the monkey still by your friend, or can you get close to your friend?
He's eating her. Please. God, no, please.
Okay, I need you to calm down for me. I know it's hard, okay? I know it's hard.
The police arrived on the scene and shot Travis several times. He retreated to the house and was found dead a short time later. A toxicology report confirmed Herold's statement that she had given the chimp Xanax-laced tea prior to the attack. Xanax, which is commonly given to humans for anxiety and panic disorders, has occasionally been known to cause paradoxical symptoms of hallucinations, rage, and mania. Doctors were able to save Nash's life and managed to reattach her jaw, so while she didn't technically die, she was left permanently blind from the ordeal. This wasn't the first incident involving the chimp either. In 2003, Travis escaped from Herold's car and chased a man who threw something through the open window that hit the chimp. When police arrived, they managed to coax Travis back into the car after he chased and threatened several officers. In 2004, Mark Vogel was found dead in his apartment after neighbours alerted authorities of a bad smell coming from his apartment. The scene they discovered was described by authorities as a horror movie. Vogel's corpse was found draped over the sofa and covered in spiders' webs. He had spiders coming out of his nose and mouth, while his body had large chunks of flesh ripped off by lizards he also kept. The chunks of flesh were found in the webs of several tarantulas and bird-eating spiders nesting throughout the house. It was thought that Vogel's pet black widow spider Bettina had bitten and killed him after the heating systems on the spider's enclosures had malfunctioned, opening the lids and setting the creepy critters free to roam the apartment. In 2009, 2-year-old Cheyenne was found dead in her cot after her mother's pet albino Burmese python had escaped its tank and strangled her to death. Cheyenne was discovered in her cot with the snake tightly wrapped around her with its fangs embedded in her forehead. The 8-foot 6-inch snake had escaped its enclosure at least 5 times in the 4 weeks prior to the incident. Investigators said that the python had not been fed for over a month and was severely underweight. The snake's owner, Jaren Hare, and her partner Charles Darnell were sentenced to 12 years in prison after they were convicted of third-degree murder, manslaughter, and child neglect.
Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying our content, remember to hit that thumbs up button in appreciation. It really helps us out. Now, after this video goes live, I'll be sitting in the comment section below for 1 hour answering all your questions. Now, I have a question for you lot. What would you rather? Would you rather have a snake twist around and strangle you to death, sinking its fangs in your forehead? Or would you rather a family of spiders nesting in the skull and nose and ears of the corpse that you've left behind? Let us know in the comment section below and we'll chat about it. See ya! Pew!
Slap
7 eerie abandoned places you have to see. From an abandoned sugar factory to a replicated Paris, join us as we take a look at 7 eerie abandoned places you just have to see. Chengdu City, China. While technically not an abandoned city, Chengdu in China has very few inhabitants. Architecturally modelled off Paris, this gated community seems like a ghost town in comparison to the real Paris, France. Construction began in 2007 with the intent to lure settlers out of the countryside with the promise of a little European romance. While few countrysiders seem to have been persuaded, only time will tell if the Chinese take to this unusual French oasis. The Domino Sugar Refinery. This hauntingly beautiful building is the abandoned Domino Sugar Factory in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. After operations ceased in 2004, this mighty complex was left to decay, creating an eerie backdrop against the East River. This refinery, looking like a fortress from some end-of-the-world movie, has recently received the go-ahead to be turned into residential housing. Miranda Castle, Belgium. Miranda Castle was built in 1866 by an English architect under the commission from the Liederkirk Beaufort family. The family's descendants remained in the castle until World War II, when it was taken over and converted into an orphanage. It remained an orphanage until 1980, after which it fell into disrepair. As the cost to maintain the property was far too high, no investors have come forward, so this creepy old orphanage remains completely abandoned even today. Hashima Island, Nagasaki, Japan. Hashima Island served as a coal mining facility from 1887 to 1974. Known as Battleship Island due to its likeness of a Japanese battleship upon the seas, this eerie abandoned place was once home to more than 5,250 inhabitants. The island is covered with eroding high-rise block-style apartments and a large seawall around the perimeter. Hashima Island served as inspiration for the hideout of Bond villain Raoul Silva in Skyfall. No actual filming took place on the island, however, as a large set was built in Pinewood Studios, England. The Mir Mine. Located in eastern Siberia, Russia, the Mir Mine is the second largest excavated hole in the world. At 525 meters deep, it's also the fourth deepest. When diamonds were discovered in the area in 1955, construction began shortly after on this gigantic open-air mine and outlying buildings. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, in 1991 the Saka Diamond Company took over operations, reporting annual profits in excess of $600 million from diamond sales. Eventually this huge mine was closed completely in 2011. The SS America, Fuerteventura, Canary Islands. The SS America was built in 1940 for the United States Lines. During its career, it saw many roles including a troop transport and passenger liner. During a tow in 1993, the deteriorating vessel ran aground in Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands. It has stayed there until this day, slowly eroding in the pounding surf. The wreck is now only visible in low tide. Pripyat, Ukraine. Founded in 1947, Pripyat once had a population of more than 49,000 people. It was evacuated shortly after the Chernobyl disaster in 1986. Totally abandoned for many years, Pripyat and the outlying areas are now surrounded by military guards and police. Since 2005, it is possible to take guided tours of the town as radiation levels have dramatically fallen and are now considered to be within a safe level. Recently, Pripyat has served as inspiration for several levels on the popular Call of Duty video game series. In the 2013 film A Good Day to Die Hard, part of the story is based in and around the city. An entire deserted town is truly worthy of our #1 spot for eeriest abandoned places. Well, hey, I sure would love to visit some of these places in person. As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you're enjoying the content, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to our channel, why not hit subscribe? We have new content coming out each and every week. And this is the Slapperm Shining Wolf.
Slapperm.
Japan's most haunted places. From the spirit of a World War II soldier visiting a military base to the tormented screams of a murdered young girl, join us as we take a look at Japan's most haunted places. This site, known only as Triple S Curve, is found on the Japanese island of Okinawa. There is very little information about this haunted area other than it's meant to be a hotbed of psychic energy. One Japanese forum claims that several soldiers lost their lives here. Visitors to the site have reported feelings of intense nausea, dizziness, vomiting, and even hallucinations. One man said he felt a ghostly hand rest on his shoulder when walking through the woods. At the old military base known as Sagami Depot in Kanagawa Prefecture, there is a seldom used field hospital that is said to be rife with paranormal activity. The military police send new recruits to the field hospital just to test them out. Patrols often report windows ajar, doors that have been locked left wide open even though they'd just been checked the night before. There's often disembodied whispers heard in the abandoned rooms. Shadow figures have been sighted roaming the grounds despite the field hospital having not been used in years. These reports have come from both Japanese and American soldiers. Formerly the Numahagashi Elementary School in Bihai City, this round schoolhouse is said to be a hotbed for paranormal activity. Built in 1906 as a learning centre, it was used as an elementary school through the 40s, 50s and 60s, becoming abandoned in the early 70s. There are reports of children going missing in the later years of the school. Locals warn people not to visit the abandoned schoolyard as they often hear terrible noises coming from the nearby forest. Now they say anyone who enters the crumbling ruin disappears or returns insane. Camp Hansen is a United States Marine Corps base located in Okinawa, Japan. Inside the compound at the infamous Gate 3, many soldiers have reported strange activity. It is said that every weekend a soldier dressed in World War II fatigues approaches the gate. He is covered in blood with a cigarette hanging from his mouth. He asks the on-duty guard for a light, then vanishes from sight. There are reports of this gate being closed altogether just because of this haunting. Some Japanese guards even refuse to be posted there. The well in Himeji Castle in Japan's Hyogo Prefecture is said to be haunted by a young girl who shrieks at night time. The legend tells of a young girl named Okiku who served the samurai Aoyama Tasan. On many occasions, Okiku refused to become the samurai's lover. After many advances, Aoyama decided to trick the girl by hiding one of the family's 10 precious Delft plates. The samurai blackmailed the poor girl, saying that he'd be willing to overlook the missing plate if they became lovers. Okiko refused once more. Enraged, the samurai threw Okiku into the well, killing her immediately. It is said that Okiku's spirit became an onryo, a vengeful ghost that haunts the scene of her death. On clear nights, her spirit rises from the well, counts to 9, then lets out a chilling scream before descending back into the dark waters below. The Doryodo ruins in Adakayama Park in Hachioji, Tokyo were once a place of worship, but now they're known for something more sinister. In 1963, an 83-year-old woman was found brutally murdered on the side of the old temple. She was killed by a robber who looted the temple and left the old lady's body in the forest. Then, just 10 years later, a young student from St. Paul's University was found dead amongst the abandoned ruins. It was reported that the girl was having an affair with the university lecturer Oba Hiroshi. When the affair became publicly known, the professor, who was married with 2 children, felt his only way out was to murder the young girl and hide her body in the rural temple. The body was not discovered for several weeks. Locals told the police that they heard a young girl's voice coming from the forest that said, "I'm here, I'm here." In 1983, the old temple was dismantled. Many visitors claim they feel a sudden sadness come over them when they visit the site. Others say the voice of the young girl can still be heard crying out in the night, begging to be found. Located in the Ikebukuro area of Tokyo, Sunshine 60 is reported to be the world's first haunted skyscraper. Employees and construction workers alike tell stories of disembodied screams, chains rattling, and faces disappearing into the shadows. Built in 1978, this shopping centre and business hub once had the crown of the tallest building in Asia. However, despite its record-setting achievement and cheery name, it had a hard time relinquishing its sinister past. This enormous building was built on the former grounds of the infamous Sugamo prison. In its prime, the jail housed up to 2,000 inmates, 7 of which were executed on site. In the public eye, the Sunshine 60 project was deemed cursed. During its construction, many workers inexplicably lost their lives, some dying of faulty equipment, others falling from great heights, even though all safety precautions were in place. The workers often complained of strange noises, whispers or crying, chains rattling along the cement floors. Paranormal activity continued once the Sunshine 60's doors opened to the public, making it one of Japan's most haunted places. Customers have reported seeing faces in change rooms, orbs of light, and ghostly hands touch them as they go about their shopping. Many say they've seen a young girl jump off the roof of the building. Shocked and frightened, customers rush to the windows expecting to see the young girl hit the pavement below, but there's nothing there. Another regular apparition is the old lady that haunts the offices of the building. She's said to be gaunt and haggard with no eyeballs. She crawls about the cubicles of the offices whispering, "Where is it?" but when confronted, just disappears into nothing. Situated in the Shinjuku ward of Tokyo is the site of a mass burial ground for one of Japan's most sinister war crimes. Toyama Park was the former site of Tokyo Army Medical College, which housed the infamous Unit 731. They were a group of doctors tasked with developing chemical and biological weapons during World War II. They would perform sinister experiments on Chinese and Russian prisoners of war. The doctors would infect and dissect the soldiers while they were still alive. In 1989, the experiments were exposed when construction began in Toyama Park. As construction workers cleared the land for a new medical center, they unearthed hundreds of mutilated remains. The bones had clear signs of experimentation. Author Seiichi Muramura, who wrote a book about the atrocious medical experiments, said the acts of 731 are the equivalent to Auschwitz. Many people claim they hear tormented screams throughout the park, especially at night. They feel as though they're being watched and can feel a great sadness in the area. They say the souls of the victims are trapped, looking to be released from their eternal torture. Well, that's a bit terrifying. As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you're enjoying the creepy content, hit that thumbs up button, it really helps us out. If you're new to the channel, then why not subscribe, because we have content just like this coming out each and every week. And this is our slap term shining.
Slap time.
Eerie places made of bones. If you've ever thought of building an eye-catching centerpiece out of human bone, then chances are you're already being watched by the FBI. Unfortunately, that type of thing is totally unacceptable today, but 200 years ago, any wall could be spruced up with a human skull or two. So join us as we take a look at some of the most eerie places made of bones. The Capuchin Crypt. This crypt, commissioned by Pope Urban VIII in 1626, lies beneath a small church in Rome, Italy. The Pope's brother, Antonio Barberini, a Capuchin friar, ordered the exhumation of thousands of dead friars, with their bones to be moved to the new crypt. The crypt became the final resting place for about 4,000 friars, buried between 1500 and 1870. One wall of the crypt features bones that have been arranged in different patterns surrounding several intact skeletons still wearing friars' robes. This dimly lit crypt is open for tourists brave enough to catch a glimpse of the eerie artwork, with one plaque reading, "What you are now, we used to be. What we are now, you will be." Whew, take it easy. The Monastery of San Francisco. The catacombs beneath the Monastery of San Francisco in Lima, Peru contain the remains of some 70,000 people. Rumoured to be riddled with secret passageways, this underground ossuary was the original resting place of anyone who died in the city. This tourist attraction is not recommended for anyone with claustrophobia. The long, bone-lined hallways lead to several large pits filled with even more bones. Like a weird game of skeleton Tetris, the bones are all meticulously stacked, creating several very creepy patterns. Skull Chapel. With a small, unassuming exterior, the Skull Chapel in Poland hides an eerie secret. It contains more than 3,000 human skulls. There is also another 21,000 skeletons stuffed in the basement. Inspired by the Capuchin Crypt in Rome, this dedication to the dead took 18 years to construct and fill with bones. Inside the chapel there is a carving of an angel that reads, "Arise from the dead." Yeah, this is probably not the best place to seek refuge when the zombie apocalypse begins. The Fossil Cabin. The Fossil Cabin in Wyoming, USA was built in 1932 by Thomas Boylan. Originally intending to collect fossils from the local area to construct a dinosaur skeleton, Boylan soon realized the difficulty of the project. The fossils he collected were from several species of dinosaur, making it impossible to construct one complete dinosaur skeleton. With the help of his son, Boylan instead constructed a wooden cabin and lined the exterior with the found fossils. In 1938, Ripley's Believe It or Not dubbed the dwelling the oldest cabin in the world, which is obviously not true. Have you seen an episode of the Flintstones? Sedlec Ossuary. Located in Kutna Hora, Czech Republic, the Sedlec Ossuary is perhaps the most bizarre bony building of them all. The ossuary was built using the remnants of between 40,000 to 70,000 skeletons. The centerpiece is an enormous draping chandelier built with at least one of every type of human bone. Pelvises, femurs, vertebrae and skulls, you name it, the chandelier is made from it. Several other sculptures line the building's interior, including a bony coat of arms and other arrangements. The macabre creations were not added until 1870, when a man named František Rint was employed to arrange the piles of accumulated bones into something a little more eye-friendly. And naturally he thought a gigantic chandelier made of human remains. Nice. I seem to have soiled my trousers. As always, thanks heaps for watching. Remember to give that thumbs up button a click. It lets us know you're enjoying the content. Why not follow us over on Twitter for daily Did You Know facts? And this is the Schlapperm shining off. Slap. 8 most convincing UFO sightings of all time. When it comes to UFO sightings, there is a lot of bogus footage out there, not to mention blurry photos and crackpot testimonies. There is, however, plenty of credible evidence of UFO existence if you can sift it out from the rest. From Apollo astronauts claiming UFO encounters to naval commanders' eyewitness accounts. Join us as we examine the 8 most convincing UFO sightings of all time. Today's episode is a co-production with All Time Numbers. For some amazing space facts, stay tuned for the end of this episode for more information. The Battle of Los Angeles. On the evening of the 24th of February 1942, a large hovering object was spotted over Los Angeles, California. While air raid sirens sounded, several spotlights maintained the object's position. The 37th US Coast Artillery Brigade began peppering the UFO with 50 caliber machine guns and 12.8 pound anti-aircraft shells. The barrage continued well into the morning when a ceasefire was finally ordered. Initially, the object was thought to be an invading Japanese aircraft, as the incident occurred less than 3 months after the attack on Pearl Harbor. However, it was later announced that the entire incident was a false alarm put down to a case of worn nerves. Despite the government's feeble attempt to explain the incident, the identity of the object was never confirmed, nor whether the US government managed to shoot it down or not. Former US astronaut claims UFO encounters. Former Apollo 14 member Dr. Edgar Mitchell claims that aliens came to Earth to stop a nuclear war between the US and the Soviet Union. According to Mitchell, several high-ranking military officials told him that they had seen UFOs during weapons tests during the 1940s, including the first ever test of a nuclear weapon in New Mexico on the 16th of July 1945. Mitchell is even quoted as saying, "Other officers from bases on the Pacific coast told me their test missiles were frequently shot down by alien spacecraft." UFO over Holy City. On January 28, 2011, several witnesses captured astonishing footage of a UFO flying over the Dome of the Rock on Jerusalem's Temple Mount. The glowing orb was seen clearly in the night sky before descending to within meters of the buildings below. It hovered there for a few seconds before emitting a bright light and ascending at great speed away from the bewildered onlookers. While the Israeli government dismissed the videos as likely hoaxes, no one has yet offered a definitive explanation as to what it was or how the video was made. Because the mysterious object appeared in such a holy place, many believe the UFO was a sign from God. UFO landing in Flatwoods, West Virginia. On September 12, 1952, in the town of Flatwoods, Baxton County, West Virginia, USA, the May brothers and their friend witnessed something very strange indeed. While playing in a field, the 3 boys claimed to have seen a bright orb flying overhead and landing on a nearby neighbour's land. The boys headed indoors to tell their mother. The boys and their mother collected several more locals, and the makeshift mob headed into the hills to where the ball of light landed. There they allegedly witnessed a darkly clad creature with a large cape that came towards them hissing before returning to the glowing orb. Many witnesses claimed to have smelled a horribly pungent odour that burned their eyes and noses. Later, many of them became ill, complaining of symptoms similar to mustard gas exposure. Westall UFO encounter. At 11 AM on Wednesday 6th of April 1966, more than 200 students and staff from Westall High School and Westall State School in Victoria, Australia, claimed to have witnessed a grey saucer-shaped craft land in a nearby field. The craft, described as about the size of 2 family cars and glowing purple, reportedly descended behind a line of trees where it remained for about 20 minutes. It is said that the object then climbed at great speed and departed in a northwest direction. Several newspapers covered the story, including the Dandenong Journal, which ran 2 separate front-page articles on the unexplained event. GTV Channel 9 Television ran a news report on this strange encounter in which a student, Joy Teague, described the object in detail. Sometime after, the footage went missing, Channel 9 reporting that the footage was removed from their archive and never returned. On April 8, 2006, a witness reunion was held at the Westall Tennis Club to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the mysterious incident. UFO over the Atlantic. In 1950, Navy Commander Graham Bethune and his crew witnessed a UFO during a flight between Keflavik, Iceland and Argentia, Newfoundland. Commander Bethune was transporting several high-ranking military VIPs back to the US when the strange object appeared over the Atlantic Ocean. Bethune reported that the craft was approximately 300 feet in diameter and was surrounded by a fire-like halo. According to Bethune, the UFO suddenly rose to the level of the plane, at which time several members of the crew ducked for cover, fearing the object would crash right into them. When Bethune finally landed in Argentia, he, along with several members of his crew, were questioned about what they had seen. Amazingly, all reports were very similar, and the bizarre story was further corroborated by air traffic controllers that managed to track the mysterious craft from the ground. We've put a link to the full video testimony of Commander Graham Bethune in the description box below. It is well worth checking out. UFO over America's capital. Late on the evening of July 19, 1952, Edward Nugent, an air traffic controller at Washington National Airport, noticed several unidentified objects on his radar. The objects were confirmed by several other controllers, including the senior air traffic controller Harry Barnes. Barnes contacted the airport's other radar center, where controller Howard Coughlin confirmed that he could see one of the objects out of his window. The objects were described as glowing bright orange and moved in a manner unlike any aircraft known at the time, sometimes travelling at speeds estimated at 7,000 miles per hour. When the objects moved over the White House, Barnes contacted Andrews Air Force Base. Soon the controllers at the Air Force Base confirmed several unusual blips on their radar screens. The mysterious blips corresponded to the location of the glowing orange lights, which were now being viewed in the sky by military personnel. At 3 AM, 2 F-94 Starfire jet fighters were sent to intercept the objects. Just as the jets entered the area, the objects vanished from the radar. The incident made front-page headlines, raising fear and panic amongst the local citizens. The objects mysteriously reappeared on radar 1 week later. Several more eyewitnesses reported to have seen strange fiery orange objects moving at tremendous speed through the night sky. The sightings led to President Harry Truman to personally call for an explanation of the events. Several news sources reported that the Air Force jet pilots had been placed on 24-hour alert with orders to shoot down any craft that refused to land. One jet pilot, Lieutenant William Patterson, reportedly chased 4 of the objects at speed when they suddenly surrounded his plane. Patterson asked the control tower at National Airport what he should do. He received nothing but stunned silence from the controllers. Patterson then said the 4 objects sped away from his jet and disappeared. The Japan Airlines Flight 1628 sighting. On November 17, 1986, Japan Airlines Flight 1628 was en route from Paris to Narita, Tokyo. At 5:11 PM, as the flight was changing direction through Alaskan airspace, several members of the crew, including ex-fighter pilot Captain Kenju Terauchi, witnessed 2 bright objects to their left. Terauchi described the objects as having a disregard for inertia in their movements, and one of the objects seemed to move as though it had overcome gravity. Soon the objects disappeared and a third, much larger object became visible. Terauchi claimed the new object was cylindrical and twice the size of an aircraft carrier. The captain then requested a change of course in order to avoid the UFO, which was now heading straight towards the plane. Following the incident, Captain Terauchi was grounded by the airline after he reported what had happened to 2 Japanese news journalists. Later, FAA Division Chief of the Accidents and Investigations Branch, John Callahan, was asked to compile a report of the occurrence in which he tied radar data of the objects with the voice tapes taken from onboard Flight 1628. The report was presented to members of the FBI, CIA, President Reagan's scientific study team, and several unidentified individuals in a meeting that was deemed top secret. According to Callahan, the incident was viewed as the first recording of UFO radar data, and all present were told to keep silent about the entire incident. A link to John Callahan's astonishing testimony recorded in 2001 can be found in the description box below. Huge shout out to All Time Numbers. It was an absolute blast working with you guys on this one. Now if you want some amazing information about our galaxy, the Milky Way, head on over to their channel right now and check out their new awesome video, The Milky Way in Numbers. Oh my god, the alien invasion has begun. Get my tinfoil hat until our supreme overlord alien beings take over. Remember to hit that thumbs up button because it lets us know you're enjoying the content. And this is the Slap Term. Remember to subscribe.
Slap Term.
5 pieces of shocking ghost footage caught on security camera. Have these security cameras captured proof of ghosts? From a strange blue spirit floating around a gas station to a terrifying poltergeist attack. Join us as we take a look at 5 pieces of shocking ghost footage caught on security camera. In 2007, a security camera at a gas station in Palmer, Ohio captured something very unusual floating around the petrol pumps. Both workers and patrons are stunned at the footage, unable to explain whether this is a ghost caught on camera or not. Here's some footage taken by a security camera in a Japanese car park. It shows several cars driving past when a mysterious ghost figure appears out of nowhere, then vanishes just as quickly as it materialized. This security camera in a Blockbuster video store in Mexico has captured something very eerie. At night, employees often report that an unknown force has blown air on their necks or pushed them in the back. This footage shows one such employee experiencing some kind of paranormal activity. There are very few details about this CCTV footage supposedly filmed at some kind of IT park. It shows a man walking down a hallway, but what happens after that is absolutely chilling. This security camera captures a hooded man walking down a hallway, but what happens next is the stuff of nightmares. It would appear some kind of spirit or demon appears out of nowhere and pushes the man to the ground, then drags him down the hallway. The entity then vanishes as the man runs for his life. Well, hey, remember to check under your bed for demons, because that's where they like to lurk. As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you really want to help us out, hit that thumbs up button. Let's try and get this video to 1,500 likes. And this is the Slap Term signing off.
Slap Term.
5 monsters caught on tape. From a dragon filmed flying over England to a creature caught lurking in the depths of a sewer, we take a look at 5 monsters caught on tape. This footage, taken during the 2011 tsunami in Japan, appears to show some sort of mysterious white creature fleeing the rising waters. The beast seems to disappear into thin air as it scrambles to the roof of a nearby house. Sensing further danger, the monster then makes another dash for higher ground. This footage was taken in a Mexican town in 2015. After hearing strange noises coming from outside, the resident decides to take their camera to investigate. What they see lurking on the roof is truly terrifying. There's very little information available about this clip. It's apparently filmed somewhere in England and appears to show a dragon flying across the sky. What do you think, real dragon or elaborate hoax? Let us know in the comments section below. This remarkable footage from Brazil claims to show an alien being held by the local government. In the video, the soldiers are apparently asking the creature to speak. Both soldiers then make a hasty exit as one of them says, "Let's get out of here." This chilling footage was captured during a routine sewer inspection by a UK water company. What they catch a glimpse of is the stuff of nightmares. Here's a bonus one for you all. It's not a video as such, it's an image that went viral in 2014. Allegedly, it's a heat signature of a bizarre animal captured by a geologist working in a New Mexico oil field. Many claim this monster to be a skinwalker, a mythical creature from Native American legend that has the ability to shapeshift into any animal it chooses. Others believe it's a hoax, claiming it's a still from a little-known 1980s science fiction film. What do you think, hoax or proof that a skinwalker is prowling the oil fields of New Mexico? As always, thanks heaps for watching. Hit that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the creepy content. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe because we have stuff like this coming out each and every week. And this is the Slapperm shining.
Slapperm.